question that I get asked quite a lot is, do fast bowlers need to be strong? Now I understand why I get asked this question, because as a fast bowler, your goal is to deliver the ball as quickly as possible. And if you're really strong, then you're gonna have really big muscles and be really bulky, which is gonna weigh you down and slow you down, right? No, not quite. I understand why you might think this, but that's a bit of a myth. And today I want to dispel that myth and help you understand why, as a fast bowler, strength is your ally and your friend and something that you want to work on. So we're going to start over here with our force velocity curve. So on the left, we've got force going up, and on the bottom, we've got velocity going across. So as you produce more force, velocity is less. And as you produce more velocity, force is less. So if we produce a lot of force, that's strength. So we're training strength there, but we can't do that with a very high velocity. If we want to produce high velocity, then that is speed. But in speed training, we can't produce much force. As a fast bowler, we want to belong somewhere in the middle there, where we're producing a lot of power. So to produce power, we want strength and speed to interact and work together. So we want to be strong, but we want speed as well, and that's going to give us power. That is going to help us have a higher rate of force development. So rate of force development is how quickly you can produce force. So it's about force and time. So as we produce more force, it's going to take more time. But if we've got less time, then we can produce less force. So fast bowling happens really quickly, so we haven't got much time to produce force. So that's where I understand why people might not think you need much strength, you need more speed, because it happens so quickly. But the benefit of strength training for fast bowlers is that this rate of force development curve, we can shift up by producing more force in the same amount of time. And for that, we're going to need strength and speed, so that's where we need more power. If we then take that into the kinetic chain. So the kinetic chain is basically how the whole body interacts. And for a really efficient kinetic chain, what we need is mobility, stability and strength to all work together from head to toe all the way through the body. If any part of your body, such as your hips, is lacking one of these, so your hips often lack mobility, that's a very common thing. That could be, they could lack mobility because your quadriceps and your hamstrings and your glutes lack strength and your lumbar spine lacks stability. Now, that could be the other way around. Your hips might be unmobile because your lumbar spine is unstable. But really, it's hard to put your finger on it because they all interact. If you've got tight hips, your quads and hammies aren't going to be as strong and your lumbar spine is going to be less stable. If you've got more mobile hips, that's going to be the opposite, okay? So it doesn't matter which one of these is missing, all that matters is it's missing, okay? You need to work on it and work on all three so that it works. If you put in any area of your body in the middle, you need to have all three of these around it, whether that's your shoulders, your ankles, your hips, your knees, okay? You need mobility, stability, and strength. Otherwise, one of these is going to have to give up some of its mobility, stability, or strength to help the one that's lacking. So if we've got all three of those, then we're going to have a good, efficient kinetic chain. If we talk about our kinetic chain and how it flows from back foot contact, front foot contact into delivery, and then the ball heading towards the stumps. In our run-up, we want to produce as much momentum as possible, okay? So if we can take a lot of momentum in, because once we jump into back foot contact, we can't produce any more momentum. So let's just give momentum a number of 100, right? Let's say we're not even going to give it a unit, we're just going to say we've got 100% momentum going into back foot contact. If we lack strength in our calf muscle, we're going to lose momentum at back foot contact. That's going to take our momentum down to 90, okay? That's going to take it down to 90%. If we lack mobility in our, actually we'll save that for here. If we lack stability in our knee, okay, that could take our momentum down to 80%, which means all that hard work we've done in the run up, we've run in really hard, we've busted the gut, and we've already lost 20% of that because we're lacking stability and strength from our knee down, okay? So at back foot contact, we wanna have it as short a ground contact time as possible. We don't wanna produce any force at back foot contact, we just wanna get out of back foot contact as quickly as possible without losing momentum. So we need a really strong calf and Achilles complex to absorb and get off the ground as quickly as possible, taking as much momentum into front foot contact as we can. So let's say we're at 80% momentum into front foot contact. If our hamstring lacks strength and our front leg can't brace, we're gonna be down to 50-60% of the momentum that we generated into our run up. And then let's say that we lack mobility in our shoulder. And as we're trying to bring our arm over, we have to, because our shoulder isn't mobile enough, we have to laterally flex in our upper body, which happens in a lot of people. Okay, so that's been making our lumbar spine less stable. And all that extra movement is leaking energy, and energy is momentum. So now we're down to 40% of momentum. We then take that into delivery stride. And then by the time we get to the ball up here, we've lost half of the momentum we've generated in our run up just in here, because we haven't got the adequate strength, stability, mobility to maintain all the hard work we've done in the run up. So that is why we need to be strong as a fast bowler. Not only because we want to be really strong and have big muscles, we don't really want big muscles because we don't want excess mass. But you can be strong without having big muscles. If you're strong, it's going to make you more mobile. It's going to make you more stable. And if you're more mobile, it's going to make you stronger and more stable. It all works together at all links. And it's then about the whole package. We want to produce more force in this amount of time. So at front foot contact, we can add a little bit of force, but we want to maintain as much momentum from our run up as possible, which is going to mean from A to B, let's say it's here on the time graph, we can put X amount more force into the ball. More force into the ball means it's got more energy, and then we bowl quicker. Not only are we going to bowl quicker if we're stronger, more mobile, more stable, we're going to deliver it from a greater delivery height, meaning we're going to get more bounce, okay, because we can be taller at back foot contact, brace at front foot contact, and then our arm is so much higher. And also, we're going to be more injury resistant, because we're going to not have to have a massive lateral flexion in our back, okay, so our lower back is going to be protected, our shoulder is going to be mobile, and our rotator cuff is going to be stable, meaning that our shoulder hopefully isn't going to get injured. Our calves and our Achilles and our quads and our hammies are going to support our knee, so our knee isn't going to take a pounding. And all that together, if we take any joint and pop it in the middle of this little triangle, what I've just named there, I've named 3. Knee, shoulder, and back, lumbar spine. Put them in there. More mobile, more stability, more strength, they're protected. You're going to bowl quicker, you're going to be more injury resistant, and you're going to bowl it from a greater delivery height. Do fast bowlers need to be strong? Yes. If I haven't changed your mind, then I'm not sure you've been listening. But if you want any more, if you've got any more questions on this and any part of this, because I've kind of whizzed over 2 quite complex graphs here that I've tried to make quite simple. So hopefully you understand it, hopefully you find it helpful. And yeah, and with your force velocity graph as well, how this then applies to your training is you don't just train power, you train strength and speed and power, okay? But then that goes into, you don't have to train that all in one session. That's then why you need a periodized program, because you can work on different phases throughout the program, so that overall, boom, we're building a really solid kinetic chain again, where we've got mobility, stability, strength, power and speed, all working together to improve our bowling and helping us play pain-free cricket.